AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Handle here. Their frustration out without actually going and have to do anything. They represent me, who is so angry at Wall Streeters. Which, by the way, I'm not. Because this is my tribe who control Wall Street. Why would I be upset? Because this is my tribe who control Wall Street. Why would I be upset?
I'm David Duke, and I don't love New York. In fact, I despise New York City and all that it represents. It's the real center of Zionist globalism, and it's the nexus of the most massive economic fraud and theft in the entire world. It's the viper's nest of the Zionist-dominated globalist media, like Schultzberger's New York Times, that spews its pro-Israel, Zionist warmongering, that kills millions of innocent women and children around the world for Israel. And it's harmed a lot of Americans, too. These Zionist spawn wars cost 100 times the American lives lost in 9/11. Its moral degeneracy and anti-real art and anti-family spreads like a virus across America and the entire world. New York sits like a giant, putrid, obese leech, sucking the life out of any American business that actually produces real value. And it crucifies millions of American workers and American stay-at-home companies on the altar of so-called free trade. New York is the home of master swindler Zionist Bernie Madoff. But Madoff is really a small-time crook compared to the Zionist thieves at the Federal Reserve, such as Ben Shalom Bernanke and former chief thief Alan Greenspan. New York is the lair of the predatory criminal banking houses, epitomized by the most powerful criminal bank in the world, the Zionist Goldman Sachs, run by that vulture-nosed bottom feeder, Lloyd Blankfein. New York has the key offices of the Zionist-controlled World Bank and the Zionist-controlled International Monetary Fund, which was led until recently by Zionist super predator Strauss Kahn. In his interview with Tribune Juif, the Jewish Tribune in France, he said, quote, "I wake up every morning and think about how I can help Israel," unquote. We also know that he thinks a lot about how he can seduce his next shiksa. Alleged rapist Strauss Kahn got off scot-free. Now, how did I predict that would happen? Well, let's see. Christian cops make the arrest, but Zionist prosecutors, Zionist judges, and Zionist media totally control the case and what is said about it. Could there really have been any doubt about the result? Not in New York City. That con man, Strauss Kahn, has actually financially raped millions of people all over America and the world, but that's no problem because, hey, he's one of the chosen. As a former member of the Republican Party and a member of the House of Representatives in Louisiana, a former elected chairman of the largest Republican district in Louisiana, there's only one thing I despise more than New York City. And that's Republican politicians who have sold their souls and their nation and their people out to these Zionist criminals. And you poor deluded Democrats, you should even be more angry than I. What was Obama's slogan? Change you can believe in? Wake up. Why don't you and even most Americans know that Obama's biggest corporate contributor was none other than Goldman Sachs, led by the aesthetically challenged crook Mr. Blankfein? Oh, I'm not letting Republicans off the hook. Half of McCain's biggest contributors were also Zionist international banksters. And the Zionist media tells us every day about the political power of big oil, but not one oil company was in the top 20 contributors of the two candidates for president. But plenty of predatory banks were. The naked truth is that real political power is held by AIPAC and the Zionist money kings and the Zionist banksters. And now the Zionist media has their paid whores condemning the demonstrations across America against these criminal banks and Wall Street insiders. Rush Limbaugh, Hannity, and all the rest of the controlled Goyish conservatives on mainstream media tell us how we have to defend Wall Street and defend these criminal banks. Well, not this Republican. I cheer the men and women on the streets condemning the international banks that hold America hostage. These Wall Street banks are not a product of free enterprise. They are a product of crime. The fact is, and any Wall Street expert can tell you this, the insiders manipulate the market and make the real fortunes on Wall Street. And the huge losses? Well, they're paid for by the average American hoodwinked into trusting the insiders. Firms like Goldman Sachs manipulate the ups and downs in the market. They can make trillions of dollars a year whether the market goes up or down. And when it goes down, who are the losers? You know, I know many Americans who, after 50 years of hard work, have lost 50% or more of their savings in the market crash. This while the Zionist owners of the predatory banks like Goldman Sachs made more shekels than ever. The media and Congress had to debate for 6 months about a $30 billion loan to General Motors, which is critical, and was critical, to 10 million American jobs and 10,000 American companies. But a 100 times bigger bailout of the criminal Zionist banks took just a few short days. And since that time, the Federal Reserve great Rebbe, Ben Shalom Bernanke, with a stroke of the pen, gave away over $20 trillion of your money, the American taxpayers' money, to these predatory, mostly Zionist banks, who in turn give the campaign funding for the corrupt politicians. Mr. Limbaugh, Mr. Hannity, even Mr. Ron Paul, you're dead wrong. We need not only more regulation of the international banks, we need criminal prosecution of them. Just like on the football field, we need referees who are fair, that make sure that the rules are followed and the truly best team wins. And that is the real American way. Yes, occupy Wall Street. Occupy the Federal Reserve Bank in New York and Washington. Bring the biggest financial criminals in the world to justice. Finally, Americans are rising up, and it feels great. When Manhattan was bought from the Indians for a sack of beads, it was said to be the best bargain in history. Well, you see, sometimes you get what you pay for. For the benefit of upstate New York, of America and the world, it's time to give New York City back to the Indians. If we can't do that, then let's at least put these banksters like Blankfein, Bernanke, Greenspan, and Strauss-Kahn in prison where they belong. And this has been David Duke, daring, once again, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but